Welcome everyone to Throwback Gaming's Let's Play of Our Life Beginnings and Always, Part 16. Last time we did the wave moment, which had to do with us surfboarding. And this time we're going to do growing, so let's jump in, shall we? Early one afternoon, you found yourself in the living room with your family. It was another one of those summer days where it felt too hot to go outside, but it felt too uncomfortable to do anything inside either. Well, sounds like you're, in trouble then. The air conditioner was cranked up as far as you could negotiate it, but everyone was still being pretty lazy. You, your moms, and your sisters were lounging around while the TV blared on in the background, ignored by you all. So, the TV's on, but it's just background noise. You specifically were laying spread eagle on the carpet, sitting cross-legged on the floor, perched on the arm of the couch, or draped over the coffee table. Where do I want to be? I'd probably be on the couch. Elizabeth had claimed the entire couch for herself. It was too hot to argue over the space, so you didn't bother. Elizabeth broke the silence with a loud groan. You glanced over. She was laying on her back over the couch, massaging her calf with one hand. Why? Ugh, I feel terrible. I'm dying in this house and my legs hurt. Why aren't you being a pocket full of sunshine? Mom looked up from the magazine she'd barely been flipping through and frowned, concerned. Could you have strained them somehow? Elizabeth flailed briefly, then flopped on her side with a heavy sigh. I don't know, it just hurts. Oh, sweetheart. Mom got up from her seat at the kitchen table and walked over to your sister. She had a light pat on Elizabeth's shoulder sympathetically. I'm sorry you have to deal with that. Maybe it's growing pains. You could be taller by next fall. Elizabeth skulked. She didn't look impressed by Mom's assessment. I'd rather be my height forever than deal with this. Mom walked over too, leaning over the back of the couch. Kids, they grow up so fast. Soon Elizabeth will have a home of her own. Maybe even have a nice husband and some kids if she feels like it. She sniffs loudly and wipes at her eye, but you could tell it was just a bit. She's just trying to be melodramatic. You tilted your head. Even though you knew Elizabeth liked guys, it was hard to imagine her with a boyfriend or a husband. She only seemed invested in hanging out with her group of friends, not chasing after boys. Which is a good thing. Means less worry for her moms. Mom must agree with you because she shook her head. Let's not exaggerate, she's still practically a child. But if you ever do pursue romance, you can come talk to me about it. I love how she's like, you know, it's not a big deal, but if you ever decide to go into this, feel free to give me all the juicy details. I think Ma is a romantic. Definitely, we're always here to lend an ear. Elizabeth's features contorted in disgust. No way, I'm not talking to my moms about that. Mom's dropped and she gasped in an exaggerated display of shock. Her head came up to rest against her chest. Ma only grinned. She didn't look offended by Elizabeth's quick response at all. It really wouldn't be so bad to come to us. I know what it's like to have a crush on a pretty boy or two. Oh. Okay, so she's bi and she's not. Maybe that's why she said it. I don't, but I can listen anyways. Well, that's interesting. That's cool. Ma started at her own joke while Ma burst into giggles. They were having a little too much fun at Elizabeth's expense. Parents at their finest. Elizabeth certainly wasn't feeling the amusement because she rolled her eyes and sat up. I'm going back to my room. I'd rather not melt alone, thanks. Oh, I'd rather melt alone, okay. She strode off towards the staircase, taking the steps two at a time. Your mom stared after her, then turned to each other with raised eyebrows. Oops, looks like we scared her off with all that romance talk. Oh well, we'll get her next time. I love them, they're hilarious. You watch them titter with some surprise. Obviously your moms like women, but you had no idea that mom liked guys too. Today was the first time you heard her say something like that. I know, it's interesting. It's good though, we gotta have diversity. Ma always thought you only like ladies. You like guys too? Yeah, some people are like that. Ma turned to you, happy to bring you into things now that you've spoken up. She smiled and nodded. That's right, I like both. But I like your mom the most of everyone. She's special. Aww. Ma's smile turned all soft into corners, like it usually did when she looked at her. She pinched Mom's cheek lightly. Mom reached up to cup a hand over Ma's. Even though Ma stopped pulling at her cheek, their hands remained clasped together. Thanks, Lonnie. I think most women have charm, but no one can hold a candle to you. Aw, Pamela. Aw. Ma beamed, then kissed Mom on the cheek she'd been pinching before. You laughed at their antics. You thought the moment was very sweet, or you cringed. Parents were embarrassing. I thought it was sweet. You smiled at yourself at the sight. No matter how often your moms expressed their feelings for each other, it always felt nice to witness it. It's because they cared about each other. Ma looked back at you, letting Mom's hand go for a brief squeeze. She settled down next to you, and Mom followed soon after. You know, I'm also here to listen to you whenever you're ready. That offer isn't just for Elizabeth. Ooh, are we going to tell her about some details? In fact, I think that talk might be needed sooner for you. After all, you already have someone, isn't that right? Mom shook her head and elbowed Ma, but it was futile. Ma be scheming, and Mom's like, don't you dare. Meddler. You meddling mom. You blushed fiercely. You also elbowed her. Ma, I don't have someone. Or yeah, that's true. Let's just blush. That'd be me. Ma only giggled and smiled, not looking the least bit apologetic. There's no rush, of course. You can take all the time you need to figure out what or who you want. Don't think you have to stick with whatever you come up with right now, either. Life's nice like that. It can change and you can learn. Exactly. Mom nodded her agreement. The two of us are happy to hear you out, and we may be able to relate better than you think. Still, we won't push the topic, at least most of the time. She gave Mom the weakest, scathing look possible while being unable to stop grinning. Thanks, you nodded silently. You shrugged. You don't have to worry about it. I'd rather pass on all that. We'll just say thanks. Would be nice. I'll think about it. Good, that's all we asked for. Mom let out another exaggerated sniffle. It didn't take a genius to realize it was fake. First Elizabeth, now you, Jamie. Do you have to grow up? Yes, children tend to do that from time to time. I love Mom. She's funny. Your parents quickly grow absorbed in their conversation about rearing children. You took that as your cue to leave, getting up so you could spend some time alone in your room too. They would let you go without a problem, so you made your way upstairs. You let out a sigh when you stepped into your room. It was just as sweltering in here as it was in the living room, possibly even a little bit warmer. You couldn't even open the window since it was hotter outside, and you just let the AC out. You dragged your feet as you crossed the room. You checked your current sweltering condition in the mirror as you passed it. You thought back to the conversation you had downstairs about growing up and all that. After a moment, you stepped a bit closer to the mirror. You stared into it, then turned away from the surface to look down at yourself. You were definitely growing, alright. It was weird thinking about how you were now, in comparison to what you had been when you were younger. When it came to your body, it was getting some muscle definition nowadays, was chubby, was slender, was heavyset, or was sort of scrawny. Well, I'm slender, so we slender. You shifted from side to side, your head still facing towards and continuing the self-evaluation from this viewpoint. At birth, you were assigned female and... Well, that's cool. They have that option. At birth, you were assigned male and... or you were born intersex. Oh, we have all 3 options. Nice. For various people. That's cool. I mean, personally, I was this, but, you know, don't judge. Your chest was only flat. Your chest was flat, but you thought about it being different. Oh, okay. Or your chest was flat by birth, but you aimed to have brushed through hormone therapy. Well, again, good to have options. You know, if you said you were born female, but you feel male, or vice versa. But that's what I'm going with. It's good though, it's good to have diversity. And that's just the way it was for you. Your fingers brushed over your cheeks as you stared up at the freckles dusting your features. It was as if they had quadrupled in the summertime with all the extra sun. Yeah, me in real life. You took a step back, finished with your improv inspection. You locked eyes with your reflection, cocking your head to the side. All things considered, you thought you looked fantastic. You thought you didn't look bad. You had no idea how you felt. You were simply neutral. You were self-conscious, or you just wanted to look different than you did. We'll go with the second one. A slight smile tugged at your mouth. Sure, maybe you wouldn't be a model or anything, but you weren't half bad. I know, right? You shook your head roughly, putting thoughts of what you were turning into out of your mind. This wasn't the time to focus on such things. You had to find something to do in this heat. You shuffled over to your bed, collapsing on the mattress. Your brow scrunched up at the thought. Time passed slowly, and to your annoyance, possible ideas about what to do were few and far between. You weren't sure how long it had been, but eventually you heard your mom call you from downstairs. Jamie, there's a call for you. Cove wants to come over. Is that alright? You perked up at the word, sitting in your bed. You yelled back to her immediately. Yeah, that's not even a question, Mom. You got up to your feet and headed downstairs, eager to see your friend. Friend in quotations. You needed to go downstairs soon anyways because your empty stomach told you it was almost time for lunch. Just as you reached the bottom of the stairs, you saw Mom put the phone back on the receiver. She glanced at Ma, leaning her hip against the kitchen counter. They're scheming. Well, here comes trouble. We better prepare ourselves. Ma clicked her tongue in clear disapproval of Mom's words. He's such a good boy. Cove never wants to cause trouble. He can just be a bit thoughtless and impulsive. Thoughtless and impulsive is bad, though. You gotta think before you do things. Oh, I know. He's very sweet, but that's what makes him more of a problem. If a stranger or some kid from school was egging Jamie on to behave badly, I think we can both agree that he'd do the right thing in the end. But if Cove Holden got into a reckless mood and wanted Jamie to be part of the riot, can we really be certain of what he'd make then? Yes, we can, Pamela. Jamie would do whatever Cove wanted. Mom got it figured out. Lonnie. Your mom giggled freely at Mom's reaction. You worry too much about those two together. Look, all I'm saying is I haven't forgotten that time when they were kids and tried to run away together. Well, actually, he tried to run away and we just went with him so he wouldn't be alone because, you know, stranger danger. Mom just laughed as she turned away, still snorting. Her eyes met yours. She blinked in surprise and waved at you with an easy grin. Mom looked over, noticing that at the foot of the... Wait a minute, noticing you at the foot of the stairs as well. Oh, I didn't expect you to come down already, Jamie. I just wanted to let you know what was happening. You pretend you didn't overhear the conversation or you called me out on her comments. Well, if I hadn't come now, then I wouldn't have heard everything you just said. Oh. Oh, you got caught, Pam. I love Lonnie. She's... Lonnie's my girl. What? You were saying things, too. I didn't say anything I wouldn't have told Jamie directly. Ooh, she told you. Oh, you're so unbelievable. You shook your head at your parents, even as you fought a blush when you remembered what they had been discussing. Alright, you got me. I'm sorry for being gossipy and saying that about your friend. I can be bad too. We'll get out of your way now. Well, thanks for the apology, Mom. Mom sighed in mock defeat and made her way down the hall. Ma followed after her with a hushed giggle. Now that you were alone in the living room, tasked with waiting for Cove. And that was just fine by you. If it hadn't been so hot outside, you would have visited him at his house a long time ago. You took a seat at the kitchen counter and settled in for the wait. As expected, there was a knock on the door a few minutes later. He looks tired. When you got up and answered it, your neighbor was standing over on the other side. He came in once you stepped aside to let him pass, giving a little wave. You greeted him as you typically did. With the wave, with the low high five, with the nudge to the shoulder, with the noogie, no, with the hug. We give hugs here. He stiffened into your arms, then relaxed seconds afterwards. One would think he'd be used to your hugs after all these years. He's just embarrassed. Hey. His voice was cracked as he struggled to say something. You didn't feel worried about that. It was how he usually reacted when you were close by. Cove sighed and wiped his face a bit. You noted the stain of sweat across his brow. He must be glad to be back in the air conditioning place, even if he only had to walk across the street to get here. Is something going on? Why'd you want to come over? I don't want to do anything. Not when it's like this. He gestures vaguely to the humid air hanging around. I thought I could at least do nothing with you. Aw, that's so sweet. You thought that was really sweet? Obviously this is the one we're picking, but how'd you know I was doing nothing? Maybe I had plans. You nodded. That made sense to you, or I was thinking the exact same thing. His words were nice and expressed real fondness for you in a strange sort of way, which was usually the case with Cove. Dang. Have you had lunch yet? I'm just gonna do it soon. He shook his head. I haven't really felt like eating because of the heat. I probably should have lunch. I didn't have breakfast this morning. Yeah, I get like that sometimes too. You should really eat properly. You didn't eat at all, then you gotta have something now, or great, we can have lunch together. Aw. He nodded, looking content with your suggestion. Okay, cool. As one, you headed into the kitchen. You crossed your arms as you glanced around, wondering what you should scrounge up for a meal. I don't want to eat anything that's warmed up. Is there something cold or not cooked? Yeah. After a bit of back and forth, the two you concluded that you should raid the fridge and cabinet in order to make sandwiches. That's funny, that's what I was thinking. I was like, sandwiches are cold, unless you warm them up. With that settled, you planned to decide on the outside layers first. There was a wide variety to choose from, since everyone in your house had their own favorites. There was white bread, wheat bread, sourdough, mixed grains, gluten-free bread, and pita pockets. Could you take the grain one for me? Sure. You reached for the mixed grains, then made your own decision. A lettuce wrap, white bread, sourdough, mixed grains, cinnamon, swirl bread, gluten-free bread, or the pita pockets. White bread. You pulled out the white bread to setting both items on the counter. Then you had to decide what main direction the sandwich would go in. I feel like I'm at Subway. You wanted to make a sweeter style of sandwich, or you wanted to make a truly savory style of sandwich. Well, I like truly savory, so let's go with that one. Something savory would make it a real meal. For specific ingredients: ham slices, turkey slices, tofu, hummus, egg salad, lettuce, tomatoes, cucumber, avocado, peppers, pickles, cheddar cheese, pepper jack cheese, and mozzarella. I guess we'll go with ham. Ham with lettuce and red onions and pickles and cheddar cheese. Sounds good to me. For the finishing touch you intended to top your sandwich with, Mustard, mayonnaise, pezzo, hot sauce, salt and pepper, or ranch. Mayonnaise is a hands down correct answer. No. I guess we got pezzo too. That's fine. Nod to yourself with a quick hum, satisfied. The two of you bustled around the kitchen, opening and closing things in order to collect everything you needed for your individual sandwiches. You focused intently on assembling your own, for the most part. When you were close to being done, though, you glanced over at your neighbor. Cove was putting his sandwich together delicately, his brow furrowed and tongue sticking out just barely. There was open jars of peanut butter and honey near his plate, as well as a banana peel. Peanut butter, honey, and a banana peel. Oh, well, I guess it's peanut butter, honey, and banana. That's interesting. But hey, you do you. I don't judge. So he was making a peanut butter, banana, and honey sandwich on mixed grain bread. Well, that's certainly an original for me. It sounded great. You didn't think much of it. It seemed weird. It seems different, but, you know, don't judge. You would have done at least some things differently. Curiosity satisfied, you turned back to your plate and finished your own creation. By the time you were done, Cove had already cleaned up his workstation. He turned to face you, studying your sandwich briefly. He gave it an incredulous look, but didn't question you about it. Good. Done? Yeah. Cool. He waited as you quickly returned the ingredients and cleaned a few utensils, then the two of you collected your respective plates. You both agreed on heading upstairs to hang out in your room. You and Cove entered your bedroom while balancing your food on your plates. Nothing fell, so it was a successful trip. I know, right? It's always good to have food delivered to its current destination. Cove took a seat on the ground, stretching out on the hardwood floor in an attempt to keep a bit cooler. He immediately took a big bite of his sandwich, chewed, and then hummed happily. This sandwich is really good. At least that's something. At this point, you sat down and stared at your own sandwich. You nodded. You were enjoying yours too. You shrugged. It was okay, or you scrunched up your face. This did not turn out as expected. Obviously, you were a pro at making sandwiches. Subway potential. He leaned back on his hands while chewing and glancing around. His every movement was sluggish. Want to do something? It seemed the plan of doing nothing at all had already worn thin, despite his lack of enthusiasm. Yeah, like what? Maybe, not really, or you couldn't even muster a reply. Like what? He rolled his head back, looked up at the ceiling. What about Hangman? Ooh, I love Hangman. You laughed at the suggestion but went along with it. Yeah, neither of you had much energy for into something more taxing. You grudgingly humored it. You thought it was a nice idea, or you say, sure, why not? Sure, why not? You put your plate to your side and pulled out some markers and scrap paper. As you laid everything out on the floor, he scooted back to make more room in front of you. Cove picked up one of the markers in his right hand, while keeping half a slice of sandwich in his left. Can I pick the phrase? Go ahead, I don't mind. He smiled briefly before he bent over the paper and began sketching the hangman frame. Then he stopped, pushing his lips in thought. He tapped the end of his marker against his cheek. You watched silently as Cove looked under the paper, up at your face, and then off to the side in a loop. His marker kept tapping his cheek the entire time. You raised an eyebrow. He suggested the game and wanted to pick the phrase, but it looked like he didn't actually have anything in mind for it. Finally, he put empty lines in the paper to signify spots for the letters. Alright, you can start guessing. Okay, so it's 3... Is it 2 words or 3 words? You peered over it. His secret phrase consisted of 3 words. Okay, the first 2 had 3 letters, the last one had 4. I wonder if we can actually get to play this, because that'd be awesome. I don't know. The something, I don't know. You thought hard about what your first guess would be. Enter one letter of the alphabet. Oh, we get to actually do this. Okay, let's put a T. You got one. Okay. It's not the. After the first round, you were about to take another bite of your sandwich when a thought occurred to you. I wonder if anyone turned off the TV downstairs. The TV was on earlier, but no one was actually really watching it. Then everyone started leaving the living room. I know I didn't turn it off. It might be on downstairs with no one there. Cove smiled crookedly at that. Poor show. Playing with no one else to enjoy it. What was it? He squinted off in the middle distance trying to recall the show's name. I feel like it was some kind of crime-solving drama. Todd nodded sleepily. His eyes closed and then helped him begin with some effort. Can you give me specifics? Maybe I can guess it. Well... You rested your chin on your open palm, groggily thinking as hard as you could. I remember that there was a woman with long, blonde hair, I think. She was the one solving crimes, like as a detective or something. There were scenes in a police station, because someone got arrested. You lapsed in silence, both of you thoughtful. Then Cove chuckled. It wasn't that funny, but you joined in the laughter anyway. I don't know what that is. Me either, and I just saw it. Good job. I'm trying to think. Let's try 0. Maybe it's 1. No, it's not 1. Okay. Another round came and went, and Cove grumbled as he readjusted himself. His features were twisted and grimace. I feel so sticky. Ugh, I'm gonna be stuck to the floor forever now. I'll have to charge your rent then. You can be my new roomie if you want. Looks like we'll both be stuck here forever then. I'm sticky too. No way, I'll pull you off if I have to. You just smiled at his whining. Cove smiled slightly at your joking suggestion. That wouldn't be so bad. You couldn't help but smile too. Now that you thought about it, being roommates with Cove would be fun. Then you returned to the game. I don't know. F, maybe? Alright, so there's no F. Cove spoke up once more, catching your attention. He was peering down at the piece of paper between you, his expression thoughtful. You know, Hangman is kind of a creepy game. Why did people come up with it? Why did they play it? It's a good point. It's kind of morbid, you know? Maybe it's what they had instead of real court trials back then. I've always wondered about that, or I'll have to look it up later. It's a really old game. No one's sure where the name came from. Gotta look it up and find out. Maybe I'll do that too. That said, the two of you turned your attention back to the game. Okay, so it's not an F. It's not 1. It's not the. What else is a 3-letter word that has O in the middle? It's a phrase. I don't know. B, H. Maybe it's an H. That's a point for me. Aw, man, there's no H either. By this point, Cove had finished his sandwich. Yours was almost gone too, but now you were getting thirsty. You brought this up to your neighbor. Should we go downstairs and get some drinks? I was thinking that too, but I don't really want to get up. Me either. You looked down over at him, narrowing your eyes with false suspicion. But hey, what happened to you not being able to get up ever again because you were stuck to the floor? That's still true. I mean, we're not actually going, are we? I only thought about it. You rolled your eyes and dropped the issue defeated. Cove grinned a little at your disappointment over his victory. I don't know. Let's try N. Nope. Ugh, I'm so bad at this game. I don't know what it is. Alright, F, maybe? Aw, man. Alright, so let's try M. I have no idea. I really don't. Let's try S. Really? What did he pick? There's like... Let's try R. Okay, so there's an R. Really? O something. O-R-T. I don't know. 3 letters, and then 4 letters. What the heck? I don't have no idea what this is supposed to be. I am at a loss. Guess we can try E. Okay, so there's an E here. Alright, we're gonna try A next. Something or something. Something or something. I don't know. I already did N, okay. Something or something. I don't know. Let's try G. Nope. Sorry, the little guy is all there and dead. I win. You scowled before you could say anything. Cove spoke up again. But I can still tell you what it was. Aw. He looked up at him, waiting for the answer. Instead of saying it, though, he took his marker and silently filled in the letters. You are cute. Aw, that's so adorable. Aw. You stared. There was no mistaking what was written. Clear as day on the paper. That's adorable. He took in the words for a moment longer, then he looked at Cove. Kiss him, come on. That's adorable. He had trouble meeting your shocked gaze, a smile settling awkwardly on his lips. His next word left him in a mumble. It was all I could think of at the time. That's adorable. I love it. You covered your mouth bashfully. You gave him a playful shove, still in disbelief. You stayed where you were, unable to move. You fell backwards onto the floor from your sitting position, and you wrapped your arms around him. Let's give him a hug. It was instinct. You leaned over and wrapped your arms around him in a hug. You didn't say anything. No, you're cute. Thank you. I can't believe you. Damn, Cove. Or you just let out a small squeal. Cove smiled a bit more, still clearly feeling awkward about the move he'd pulled. He pulled away from you, his cheeks tinted pink. A moment passed between the two of you. Now would be the better time to change the subject, but you didn't. He didn't either. Things started to feel a bit more personal all of a sudden. You looked into Cove's ocean eyes and saw yourself staring back. You really think I'm cute? Seriously? Did you mean it? Do you really think I'm cute, or you didn't say anything? Cove's features softened at your words, but he remained serious. Thanks. I meant it too. Finally, he broke eye contact. I heard at some point you're supposed to start liking types of people, guys, girls, or whatever. I haven't really noticed that yet. Nothing's changed, not in a big way, not for everybody. Maybe I have to grow up more, but at least with... You waited, but he trailed off. He wasn't going to keep talking. You frowned, a little disappointed. You wished he had continued with what he was saying. You shook off the strangeness of the situation and tried to be supportive. Maybe you just don't like anybody. Maybe you only like all types of people. That's normal too. Cove could be pan. That'd be interesting. Well, you know, Mom is is gay. Ma is bi. Maybe Cove's pan. Cove seemed to appreciate that thought, if the smile that appeared on his lips was any indication. But the expression was quick to disappear. He peeled over at you, looking nervous. Okay, what about you? What kind of guy, person do you like? Cove winced and seemed to be mentally kicking himself for saying it like that. It's fine, buddy. You considered his question carefully. Did you know who or what you liked? You were starting to have a physical attraction in a general way. You only seemed to feel physical attraction in specific cases and situations. You didn't really have physical interest in other people. You didn't think you could tell if you had interest in people physically, or there was only one person you ever had those kinds of feelings for. Okay. This is like the general sense. This is like, I think it's either asexual or aromantic, where you have to have a close connection with someone in order to feel something. This is being... Actually, I think that's aromantic. I think this is asexual, is where you don't have any physical interest at all. You didn't think if you had interest in people physically, and there's only one person you had feelings for. Guess we'll go with this one. You were starting to have romantic attraction in a general way. Okay, this is the romantic one. The other one was physical. Okay, I might have misspoken about the other ones, but kind of the same thing, you know. You only seem to feel romantic attraction in specific situations. You didn't think you could tell if you had interest in people romantically, or there's only one person you ever had romantic feelings for. We'll just say general for both. But specifically when it came down to how you felt towards boys. Okay. You found them attractive. You thought you'd be happy with the guy someday. You found them attractive, but you hadn't thought about being with the guy. You weren't physically interested, but you'd be happy to have a romantic relationship with a guy, or you generally weren't interested in guys, but that there were special exceptions. Well, me personally, I'm going to go with the first statement. And how you felt towards girls. Okay, let's just explore everything. You found them attractive. You thought you'd be happy with a girl someday. You found them attractive, but you hadn't thought about being with the girl. You weren't physically interested, but you'd be happy to have a romantic relationship with the girl. You weren't interested in girls. I love how this one's just like, nope. You weren't generally interested, but there were special exceptions. I guess we'll go with this one. For people who weren't exclusively male or female. Okay. You found them attractive. You thought you'd be happy with someone non-binary. You found them attractive but didn't think about being with them. You weren't physically interested, but you were happy to have a romantic relationship with one. You weren't interested in someone non-binary, or you generally weren't interested in someone who was non-binary, but there were special exceptions. I think we'll go with this one. You returned your attention to Cove. He was sitting, waiting patiently for your response. You explained how you felt to Cove, or you said, let's rather not talk about it. Well, he asked, and we're close to him, and we like him, so. He listened intently. That's so cute. Taking in every word as you try to convey how you felt. He definitely perked up at the bit when you mentioned having some interest in romantic relationships. Then he scratched the back of his head sheepishly. I'm not really sure how we ended up talking about all this when we started playing Hangman. Okay, first of all, you brought this up by saying you are cute in Hangman, which I totally didn't get, because, yeah. But it was good, I think. I think so too. You shrugged. It was awkward. The conversation had a mind of its own, or you just nodded quietly. I think so too. He chuckled a little bashfully. He glanced around, clearly scrambling for something else to say. So, have you ever heard from Lee recently? Okay, I think Lee's one of the new characters that was introduced. I think he's just a really short kid that likes to wear the jersey. Yeah, actually, I'm really glad you brought it up. The conversation took a lighter turn after that, and it felt like you guys got closer that afternoon. Finally, the blazing sun began to set. To your relief, the air cooled down a bit as a result. You pulled yourself off the floor as Cove did, with some minor complaint. You both stretched your arms, groaning and yawning into your hands. You glanced out the window briefly, taking in the soft reds, pinks, and purples of the late afternoon sky. Somehow you made it through the scorching hot day in one piece. Cove turns towards you, motioning towards your window with his chin. Want to go outside? It might be better than is in here now. Sounds good. I could use some fresh air. The two of you took your time heading downstairs. You stopped briefly to grab a drink of water, then continue on your way. You stepped outside, one after the other, your destination being the familiar hills behind your house. This time of the day, it was quiet outside. The flowers blew gently in the wind, petals trembling, but stubbornly hanging in there. You felt the breeze cool your heated skin and relax your shoulders. Cove closed his eyes, releasing a deep breath. I really love it out here. Yeah, you're a nature boy. I do too. You do? That's surprising, you said jokingly. Your opinion sure it changed since you were first on the seal, or you quietly enjoyed the moment. Let's tease him. Cove chuckled a bit, nodding. Tendrils of his hair danced in the wind. A beat passed, but his gaze didn't stray from yours. His voice was impossibly soft when he spoke up again. I'm glad I met you, Jamie. You're really important to me, you know. Oh, we know, Cove, we know. You blushed at the statement. I feel the same. That's nice of you to say. You smiled silently. You're being too sweet. You're special to me, Cove. Your voice came out equally delicate. From the way his features brightened, though, you knew he heard you. Then Cove reached over and held your hand without another word. Aww. That's so sweet. Even as the sun disappeared completely and the sky darkened, you and Cove remained side by side for as long as you possibly could. And that's it for growing. That was adorable. I loved it. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel to know when the videos come out, and I'll see you next time when we do family, which is looking like hopefully it'll be as interesting as growing was. But we'll have to see next time. Until then, peace out, everybody.